Hello again, you beautiful souls. Here we are again at the International Dragon Thunder Summit 2023, and got this beautiful lady from Australia. I think it's like late in the evening there and early in the morning for me. And she's called Fabiene Lui, and I will now hand over to her, and she's going to send us some beautiful transmissions from the dragons and tell us a bit about her story.
Oh, thank you, Kev. I'm so pleased to be here. I'm not sure how I found myself here really, but as with all of these cosmic wonders, the universe guides us to people, places, and opportunities that really help us to share our loving wisdom, which is, I guess, why I'm here. So I am a Shadow Integrator, a light language channel and activator, and a spiritual coach. Many years ago, I connected to my light language, but more recently, in the last sort of 5 years, I've connected to my spoken light language. And that's around the time my dragons came back. And I always knew I had some kind of connection to dragons because before I turned 21, I had the notion that I needed to get a dragon tattoo. And I said, it has to be a dragon because, I'm all fire and it's just who I am. And it was weird when I said that to my friend because I didn't really understand that. I understood it on a superficial level, but I didn't really understand that, until much, much later in life when I really connected with my dragons. And my dragon tattoo was on sort of my lower belly. So I don't see it. It's not in a very visible place. It's not something I see all the time. So when my dragons came back to me, they kind of said, look, we've been with you all this time to help you remember. You've got this tattoo. I was like, oh, yeah. But my remembrance of such a vivid memory of when my dragons came back was when my soul sister was doing a remote healing session for me with her Healy machine. And she was messaging me while she was doing it. And she said, oh, and there's something about dragons that are coming through. So I kind of checked in. And what I could see was that on the horizon, I could see these small, small shapes that I knew were flying creatures. And they were flying towards me. One was in the middle, really, really big. And then there were lots around it. And I was like, oh, the dragons are flying towards me. Okay. And I didn't think anything more about it until the next day I woke up and I called to my other soul sister who works very much with dragons. I said, can you see all the dragons that are around me? So she tapped in and she said, oh my God, they are all around your house. I said, okay, what's happening? Because there are so many. So it was from there that I realized that the dragons returned because I guess my heart had finally come into a certain resonance or vibration and frequency of integrity, of unconditional loving integrity. And they came back because, I was vibrating at that resonance and they were able to be seen again. So it really filled my heart with joy to really see them, to know them, to understand all of their energy and all that they were really helping me to remember of myself in this amazing journey. And they've stayed with me ever since. One in particular showed me the lineage I came from as a dragon rider. And that was really, really powerful because I saw myself in all of this armor and all of the dragon riders of this lineage, a few of which were my soul sisters that I had already connected with. So that was really beautiful to kind of connect the dots that way. But the more I connect with my dragons, the story that they want me to share is not one of, the healing or the mysticism or all of that. The reason why I'm here is because they really wanted me to share the story of how we can truly expand and remember ourselves in the totality of who we are through our dragon rider lineages and our dragon experiences, is that we have so much unconscious bias that exists through all of the conflict that we have experienced, through the wars that we have journey through with our dragons. So one thing that I've really been working on in the last few years is I really identify with my dragon lineage, but not only that, the draconian, the Anunnaki, and the reptilian lineages that exist within me as aspects within me. And as I was channeling light language, I have channeled those lineages before, and the messages there were really about allowing all of our brothers and sisters to rise with us, not just the ones that we think are good or light or unconsciously deserving or worthy because we are seeking the light or embodying light. All of our brothers and sisters are wanting to return home across all races, across all civilizations, across the cosmos, in every planet, in every star system, etc., etc. The Anunnaki, the reptilians, and the draconians are no different. I think when we think about people talking about the 3D matrix and how that's kept us enslaved with the reptilians and etc., etc., there are many from those lineages who also want to ascend or want to really remember themselves in the highest levels of love that they also are. So through their evolutionary process, they held space and anchored certain frequencies, right? Which a lot of us deem evil or enslavery or, energy sucking or leeching or predatory or whatever. But many of them are also trying to rise above all of that. So the story that I came to share is that when we can really start raising that unconscious bias deep from within ourselves to recognize that we must meet ourselves in a deep reconciliation of all the ways that we have traversed the cosmos, then only can we truly reclaim the power and might that the dragons are guiding us to really embody and master in this lifetime. So I have a lot of memory of the human experimentation of hybridization. And so in these Anunnaki lineages, the draconian and reptilian lineages, what they showed me was that our spine comes from those races. So when there was experimentation in how the human form was going to come into physical being, the spine of the reptilians, and it's in a combination. It's not totally clear to me how it all came about, but what I was shown was that the spine, the nervous system, and the DNA, the etheric and the physical DNA that exists within our spine has the DNA of those races. And we were given that backbone, that spine, because they wanted us to experience resilience. So everything that you understand of, the draconians and reptilians is that they are strong. They have their own power that, has been distorted, et cetera, et cetera. However, there holds in that spinal system, that spinal cord, great resilience and power. And they wanted us to have that so that we would have the momentum to really keep growing and evolving in our experience. The reason why humans have such a close relationship with the dragons is because the dragons have the same spine. That is how we're able to have such a deep connection and deep, telepathy with our dragons as dragon riders, to really almost merge with our dragon spirits and fly in such synchronicity and harmony in all that we are trying to ride, navigate through. So that was a really beautiful memory that I had. And the dinosaurs also had really, really similar spinal systems. However, they were coded with a lower vibrational consciousness, which is why they, in the end, were cleared from the earth, because they just didn't evolve in the same way that they were hoping they would evolve. So the dragons were created for Earth with these spinal systems, but infused with the harmony and the rainbow body of light that exists in our Divine Mother Earth. So the reason why the dragons exist in Middle Earth and Hollow Earth is because they have direct access into those crystal grids, and they harmonize and really resonate in with all of the Divine Mother's frequencies through the rainbow consciousness that exists there. And we also have that through, our chakra system, but we have a slower remembrance of those vibrations. Yeah.
I've written so many notes, but every single thing you've said, when you get the fizz of truth going up your spine, it was doing that the whole time. My hairs on my arm are like, oh, it makes sense that we'd have the spine of the dragons, and it'd be the same, and the DNA, and a lot of that DNA is asleep, isn't it? Or we've not got access to it fully.
Yeah.
Those the 12
And that's
strands.
why the dragons. And that's why the dragons, for us, when we see them or perceive them or experience them, they take on a particular hue or hues or particular frequency or vibration that's really suited for our evolution and remembrance of self. So, and this is why they also change. For many, they change, they morph, the colors change, the textures change, because we are evolving. And as we do, they help us through that evolution of how we experience them, show us the kind of the next steps forward, or what we're here to really master and show up in our foremost, I guess, dominant human selves, to really share our wisdom with the world. So, we are, nothing is static. And I think they really want us to remember that. The card that I pulled, actually, I pulled 3 cards for this conversation today. The first one, I asked the dragons to show me the message for me for this particular sharing. The second one, I asked for confirmation of what they wanted me to share with the audience. And then the third card was the message for the audience. So the first card for me was blessings, that I am supported and so held and embraced in all of this beautiful dragon energy, for me to really show up here in all of my truth and all of my divine remembrance of self. And the second card was expansion. And this is what they really want me to talk about, that expanding our mind through the heart computer that we have, the heart quantum computer that we have, to really, again, embrace all of the dark, the light, and all of the shadows in between. That's where the expansion really exists, when we can reclaim our loving wisdom from the shadows, from our conflicts, and again, start raising that unconscious bias that exists so deep within our cellular structures, raise them to the surface, to the conscious, so that we can reclaim that lesson of love. And that's what we're here to do. And that's what we're here to share. And the dragons fight so much in passion and purpose for us to really dare to go to those depths, to dive deeper. And they hold us in the flames of their transmutation and, transformation, allowing us to keep burning down those veils of illusions of self as we die and are rebirthed in the grandest ways that we can envision. So expansion in this message through understanding the lineage that we came from, and the dormant DNA that we have, that we can still access through those lower lineages. I'm using 3D language. The lower lineages of what we perceive to be reptilian, Anunnaki, and the Draconians, as they are rising and evolving through their own mastery of self too. So yeah, the third message being the message for the audience, acceptance. What can you accept, through watching this video that perhaps you are navigating through right now? What can you come into deeper acceptance or deeper reconciliation within yourself? Because the dragons, hold you with their wings of flight, and you can't fall. They will always catch you.
Yeah, I like the fact that we all get to rise, because there in many sectors there's always seems to be a limit or a number of who gets to rise, and that always feels wrong to me. That should be that way. That we're all on a path, aren't we? And we're all on a different part of the path. Some of us at the beginning, and some of us are maybe closer to the end. And the fact that we get everyone to go, we like leave no one behind.
Yeah.
That message really resonates with me. That's beautiful.
And they also, you know, and I always say this, and it really comes from the deep truth of on how they see us as they witness us. All roads lead home. So it doesn't matter what path you choose. You know, they hope and are guiding you to your highest potential for your highest good. And they really hope that you choose that illuminated path, because that's the one where you really get to stand in, you know, your divine truth with ease and grace. And you really get to show up like this and just share so lovingly and share so generously. And that there is enough for all, because we're all equal. So all roads lead home. If you ever feel like you are not on the right path, well, you choose the path. Call into your heart space, let them guide you. Hear their roar, hear their murmurings, hear the hot breath of the wind pushing you, nudging you into a different direction. And don't be afraid to go into an entirely different direction, because the rules, the old rules, those old paradigms are being thrown out the window, out the door. There are no rules. You can do as you choose. And the dragons would love for me to share a light language blessing today. I don't channel the dragons very often. They only come, you know, when they feel like it, as you know. So let me see what I can tap into. Raha utur dahar ai garda bawa ar. Hudur dahar ra rukum unka aikira. La atu ukum surda. Ai kurtu surumba hardu akasa. Rombardu nakardu mura. Sakurtu kuaya ka aarun. Rumba ka sakurdeya. Homba tursum dartisi yarda bawa ak. Nura ho raha. Asturum. Makardu tu mardu bayikira. Homba karum. Sakir te pu okum. Sai ka eurum. Bisu roho akisara. Hartu poro. Hengaru po akia sakunur tapa. Lai sai su rumbasa. Open into the deepest chambers of your loving heart, and we await you, greeting you with the deepest love and recognition. Sa'atu kurtapa. If you think you know us, feel deeper, go deeper, and we will help you know yourself. At the deepest levels of love, that you can fall into love. Ningahar Basurtorwaki Sarotosurai. Your divine servants, we will always be, as we also are your divine masters, in the divine mirror of life and love. Turtopoa Meka.
Well, thank you for that message. I loved it. I loved it. I've only heard dragon energy or language channeled once before, and it was as powerful as that as well, and it was the same sort of, I don't know how to describe it. It's just that the energy in the sounds, the vibration, and the words is just, you can just feel the love and the intention and just their pure raw power in it as well, can't you? It's beautiful.
In that message, the dragons really brought together the races, the Draconians, the Anunnaki, the Reptilians, and others too, of the sub-races within these lineages, to bring them together so that you may experience them, that you may know your brothers and sisters in this way, knowing that they too are coming home, that they too want to be known to you. If you feel the rumblings of something that feels like it may be in the shadows, allow it to rise. Allow it to rise and come into the fullness of your loving self, and see what that message is for you. And the more that you can merge with these lineages, the more that you can allow that activation to really come through into your loving heart, the more you will know and understand the true power of the dragons.
Wow. Powerful message for everyone, that's for sure.
My mission is complete. Short but sweet. I really want to thank you for hosting and facilitating all of this energy for our transcendence, the transcendence of the self that is always evolving, that is rising, that the human that we are keeps falling away, yet is becoming to be more stitched together in a wholeness. Thank you for showing your courage, your fire, to hold us all in your dragon. Rage is the word that is coming to mind, but that is not the energy that the rage is really the fighting for the justice, the fighting for the purpose, the fighting for the goodness that we are. So the rage is that infinite roar, the roar of life, to really help us burn in the passion of that which we are, the truth of our power, and to assist us to rise up and just share in the generosity of your loving heart. Thank you, Kevin, for all that you are and all that you are doing for us in this ascending world.
Well, thank you. I received that strongly. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for your beautiful message. Thank you for the dragons for coming in and channeling through you so strongly. I'm sure this message will land strongly with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.